everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're just going to do a couple of quick disclaimers right off the bat. One, my 1-year-old is in the room with me. She's going to make noise, she's going to grab things, and she's going to talk through probably most of this. Just know that right off the bat she's in here. That's just going to be part of my videos. Number two, the construction that's ever going in my life is active as we speak, so you might hear some construction noise. So I do apologize about that. And then 3, there are also thunderstorms rolling through. So if you hear thunder, lightning, alert sounds, that's just going to be what it is for this video. So now that we got that all out of the way, let's talk about what today's video is. For this week, I want to do a whole video of reading only romance books. Romance books or the romance genre is relatively new to me within the last 2-ish years. I pretty much only used to read thrillers. I only thought I would like thrillers. I never thought there was any way possible I could like any other genre of book. I broke into the romance genre and I really found I enjoyed it. So with that being said, we're going to do a whole reading vlog of just romance books. So what books do we have on this video's TBR? So I have 4 books here that I am mostly excited to read, but keep in mind that the TBR could change if I do get new books along the way, because my birthday also happens to fall within the time span that I'm filming this video, and pretty much all I asked for was books and to go book shopping. So just keep in mind that this list of possible reads could change. The first one, I'm actually already in the middle of reading, and that is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, I think is how you pronounce her last name. I always second guess myself when I want to say Jimenez, but I don't think that's right. I think it's Jimenez. So this is the first and I think a trilogy of books. I'm really enjoying it. I would say I'm a little over halfway through. So kind of a little bit about what this book is about. We have our 2 main characters. The first is Alexis. She is an emergency medicine physician at a hospital. Comes from a very wealthy family. Obviously is very wealthy herself. And then we have our main male character, Daniel. He lives in a very small town, a very close-knit community. That's kind of what I'm reading at the moment. Battle! You like this one too? What do you think? So let's finish up this one for sure. And then I have 3 more on the list that I'm excited to read. So the first one here is The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I read the cheat sheet by Sarah Adams, absolutely loved it. Amazing book, super great. What I really liked about it was that it was not crazy spicy. I don't always enjoy just meaningless spice scenes. The next series I really am so excited to get into is all these books by Kennedy Ryan. So this is the first one, Before I Let Go. I've heard nothing but positive things about this series, so it's one I'm really looking forward to getting into. I think that this is going to be the front runner for what I actually read next. This is called Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I mean, look how freaking adorable this book is. The map was based off of where you purchased the book. So since I got mine at Barnes & Noble, you can kind of see, hopefully you can see it. There's like a little Barnes & Noble on the inside cover. And then just the hardcover itself is absolutely stunning. So I've really been wanting to read this one, and now that we are officially in the summer season, I think that this will be the perfect opportunity to read this one. So this will probably be what I read next, but we will see. I just wanted to give a quick update on Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World. I am in chapter 34, so I don't have much of this book left, but I wanted to give a quick update. And again, as a disclaimer, my neighbor has again decided to mow his lawn right when I started to record this video, so we're just going to work through it, and hopefully it's not that annoying. Like I said, I'm in the middle of chapter 34. I am thinking this is going to be a 5-star book, and I will tell you where I decided that this was going to be a 5-star. So in chapter 27, so towards the end, like the better end of the book, so this main male character is a prime example of if he wanted to, he would. I won't, it's hard because I don't want to spoil 100% what he does for our female main character, but just know that this man put in a lot of effort for a relatively small payout that meant so much to our female main character, Alexis. And then in the same chapter, she talks about how this whole community just came together to celebrate her for a specific reason that I won't get into. Because I do think it's relatively important to the book and I don't want to spoil it. And she talks about how she just feels so loved. And it's crazy because you would think, so this Alexis female main character comes from a very wealthy background. Like, she's an important person in her community, and she describes how she's really never felt loved by people in her life, predominantly her parents and a lot of her friends, her quote unquote friends that she's made in this community that she's involved in. And she steps foot into this entirely different community, and she talks about how she just feels so loved by his community. So I'm truly thinking, unless something goes so sideways in this book, I think it's going to be a 5-star, just because I love how Abby Jimenez has described the feelings that our female main character is experiencing so wonderfully and amazingly. And I think it's a very relatable book. Today is my birthday. So we are about to leave here in about an hour to go book shopping and go to one of my favorite restaurants, the Cheesecake Factory. So that is on the agenda today, but we are going to let Chloe, our daughter, take a little nap here. So while she is napping, I'm going to read, and maybe I don't think I'll finish this because we're probably gonna leave in less than an hour, and I still have about 80 pages to go, and I doubt I can read that fast. So I'm going to try to knock out another big chunk of this book. I would like to finish it today, so I might have to just finish it this evening. But yeah, once I finish it, we will come in for a final review of Part of Your World. Okay, I just wanted to provide a quick reading update. It is the same evening as my birthday, so I went and enjoyed some Cheesecake Factory with my husband and daughter Chloe. And then I went book shopping and I got a ton of brand new books that I'm so excited about. And I'm actually going to film a haul video that I think will be up before this video. And I might try to sneak one of those books into this reading vlog, assuming I have time, but we shall see how the week plays out. So I did finish Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World. I'm going to save like the full review till the very end of this video, but I just want to go ahead and preface by saying I absolutely adored this book. We are going to move straight into Summer in the City by Alex Aster. This is a book I have been so excited to read now since I purchased it when I went on a girls trip with my best friend a couple months ago. I just think this book is so stinking cute to look at. And I actually own the audiobook version of this as well, so I might try to tandem read. And I know I said earlier on in this book, I'm not a huge fan of spice. I want to clarify a little bit because the top of this book says pure, steamy, and fun. I'm not against books with spice. I just don't like when it's just constant spice for no reason. So we'll see how I feel about this at the end. As long as the spice and the romance is contributing to the overall plot of the book, I don't mind it at all. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is the day after my birthday, after I started Summer in the City by Alex Aster, and I wanted to provide a quick little update on my initial thoughts of this book. So far, I'm liking it. I do think our female main character is being kind of mean. Like, at the beginning, I can see why someone would be offended by what our main male character did. Like, I could totally see why you would be offended. And she's just being like mean, like nonstop mean to our main male character. Elle is a writer, she's struggling, And Parker is, of course, a billionaire. She talks about how hot New York is all the time, like how she just hates how hot New York is. I also got to thinking, this whole video I've pretty much filmed outside. And you're probably wondering, like, why are we always sitting outside? Mainly it's because I'm trying to take advantage of the decent weather while we can. So usually in the early mornings and in the later evenings, it's relatively nice outside, and those tend to be the times where I can sit down and focus on reading because my kid's asleep. Enough about that. Let's go ahead and get back into the book. I did make myself a nice little cup of coffee here. This is my gnome mug. This is my favorite mug that I own. Let's go ahead and jump back into this and see what our thoughts are as we keep on going. So here we go. Wanted to give a quick reading update. I do want to acknowledge here really fast that the audio might sound different in this clip moving forward through this video, because beginning of this video I was using a microphone and I dropped my phone with the microphone like insert still plugged in, and it bent and it was working and now it's not. And this will be the third time I've tried to film this clip because the audio wasn't working on the other two. So if there's an audio difference, I do apologize, but we're just going to roll with the punches here and do it without a microphone. First, I wanted to just say I did finish Summer in the City yesterday. Same as Part of Your World, I'm going to save the final review of this book for the very end of this video, but I will say I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was super cute. We will save that review for the end. And I am now reading Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. So this one is about Clementine, also known as Emmy, and Luke, and it takes place on Rebel Blue Ranch. And what's super cool about this is Emmy is actually a woman who struggles with ADHD, but she's also a barrel racer. And something I haven't talked about much on this channel, or at all yet on this channel, is I actually own horses. But it's really fun to watch, like a hobby that I enjoy, play out in a book. But let's go ahead, sit down on our blanket, enjoy some reading while it's not humid for once, and we shall see what we think. So let's get reading. Alright, so this week in our only romance reading vlog, we were able to finish 3 romance books. And I really enjoyed all 3 of these books for different reasons. So I'm going to go through all 3 of them from my least favorite to most favorite. Starting first will be Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. In general, I did really enjoy this story. I don't know. I thought some parts were very rushed and some parts were almost overly explained. And again, it's just like the cutest book with the sprayed edges. The inside map is just absolutely darling. So I'm glad I took the time to read this book. It just wasn't my favorite overall. But they have a little bit of a history with each other, but then they end up running into each other 2 years later. I will say, I think in general, our female main character was a little bit rude to our main male character. I didn't really like that. So I think both of the characters grew. I just didn't really love our main female character overall. And I feel like it's really hard for me to enjoy a romance novel if I'm not rooting for our female main character. And overall, I'm sorry, I wasn't rooting for her. Anyways, yeah. So that's all I'll say about this one. Summer in the City, 3.5 stars. I would recommend people read this one. There were some spice scenes, but I wouldn't say I was like blushing while reading this story. I think it was a great summer romance, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Summer in the City by Alex Astor. The next book that I was able to finish in this week's reading vlog was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This one was about our female main character Emmy and our main male character Luke and their story about falling in love with each other. So Luke has always had a crush on Emmy. I mean, he has always liked her. He's always like noticed her from afar and wanted to be with her.
but just really didn't see it as an option. And I didn't really get the vibe that Emmy ever really found him to be, like, she didn't ever really have a crush on him up until this story takes place. Emmy is a barrel racer, and she also has ADHD. And those are two things I really feel like I was able to relate to in this book. So the things I didn't really enjoy about this book, I was able to look past because I related so heavily to Emmy. The first half of this book, the spice, I mean, they would talk about spicy topics, but there was no like spice scenes. But then about halfway through to the end of this book, the spice in this book was so vividly described, I didn't really enjoy that. I kind of think the vivid spice scenes almost took away from this book and made me rate it lower. Personally, I'm just not someone who likes really vivid spice scenes, so I don't know. It's hard because I am the one who chose to read a book that I knew might have some spice in it. But like I said, there were so many other wonderful things. Sorry, the fireworks are crazy, and I'm apologizing now for that. Anyways, like I was saying, I was able to look past a lot of what I didn't like in this book because I just truly enjoyed Emmy so much in this book. I ended up giving it a 3.75, which I know is a very specific rating. I just didn't feel like it was a 4, and I also felt like I enjoyed it better than Summer in the City. So that's why I kind of landed on a 3.75. I do think I want to continue reading on in the series, but I just wanted to like nail home that just because you don't love every single aspect of a book doesn't mean that the parts you do really love can't help you enjoy the book even more and make it worth reading. And that's how I feel about this one. I really have no complaints about this book. Even though the spice was not for me, the rest of it was, and I truly enjoyed my time with this one. Alright, so the third and final book that we got to in this reading vlog was actually the first book I started, which was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Guys, I truly loved this book in every way possible. I don't tend to really like annotate or dog ear or mark in my books, but there were so many pages towards the end of this one that I was like dog earing. I don't know if you can see that, but like I was physically dog earing my pages of books, and that's just not something I typically do. I just could not get over this. So this one is about our female main character. I think her name was Alex. Oh my gosh, guys, something you'll learn about me is I am so awful at names, guys. I can't remember. Alexis. Her name was Alexis. She is an emergency medical physician at a hospital that has been in her family's history since basically like the beginning of time. They always have someone from her family like at the head of this hospital. There's so much pressure on her to perform and to keep up her family legacy, and that is a huge driving factor for this book because Daniel, our main male character, is like the complete opposite of her. He comes from a very low income background. The town he's from is so tiny. So just two completely different people that come together and have to work through the different challenges that life brings them to make their relationship a priority to each other. And I loved this book so greatly. And I will say, I hate Alexis's parents. Okay, and she's trying so hard, I think, to end that generational cycle, which I think is important and I love to see in books. She is taking every effort possible to make sure that she creates a different future for herself and the generations after her, so that that does not continue to repeat itself. Guys, I'm telling you, like, if I could spoil this and just tell you everything there is to know about this book, I would, but you 100% have to read this one to understand what I'm talking about. And now I see the hype behind this author, and I cannot wait to read more of her works. So 5 out of 5 stars, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Alright, so that is the end of our romance only reading vlog. I think I found 3 really great books, one of which is going to be a new all-time favorite. I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe to my channel. Help me grow my little community over here. And until next time, hope you get to find a new book you really love, and we'll talk later. Bye.